Well, let's continue talking about the game that just ended, which is France and Senegal. And for that, let's welcome Hamid Mark, sports analyst, live here with us in from the field. Welcome, Mark.
Hi. How you guys doing?
We've been doing great. We've been watching very good football games. Let's break down this game, France Senegal, into two halves because I believe there were two halves. In the first one, France dominated possession, but lacked clear chances. Was this more Senegal's discipline or France's lack of sharpness in that final third?
Yeah, so in the first half, it looked like the game was going more like how the Spain and Cape Verde game was going, except for Senegal is actually a very good team. People don't think that Senegal is a very good team, but they have a lot of good quality players like Sadio Mane, Nicholas Jackson, Sarr in the front three, got Gaye running the midfield. So it was a little cagey in the first half. Again, maybe it's the first game jitters that happens, but in the second half, there's a whole nother story. France is probably my favorite to win the whole tournament, and they're definitely, in terms of depth, the best team, I think, by far in the tournament. So their talent in the second half just shone through. Now, Senegal did make it a little interesting, scoring in the 90 plus minute. I think it was like 3 minutes left to go. So they did make it a little scary, but then Kylian Mbappe, who I think is going to be the best player in the tournament, definitely the best player in France, he showed the reason why they're the favorites going into this tournament to win the whole thing.
Do you think that France was waiting patiently in that first half, or was Senegal that was able to hold them? Because what changed in the second half, what changed tactically for France, it was like a completely different game of full attack.
Yeah, so I think Senegal, they really tried to dig deep and absorb the pressure, knowing that you have players like Michael Olise, Doué, Kylian Mbappe coming at you. You don't want to just go out and try to attack because then you leave yourself open in the back for those type of players to hurt you. So I think Senegal was playing a little cagey in the first half, which made it harder for France to break through their lines. And again, we've seen like in the Cape Verde game, when teams are deep in 4x4 blocks in the defense, it's very hard for teams on the front foot to break them through. We've seen that even in the English Premier League, where Arsenal would dominate possession, but teams would stay defensive. So it's very hard for France to break the lines. But I think Senegal tried to play a little bit more in the second half, and that opened up a little bit more lines and through balls for France to cut through and score the goals. Like Mbappe's first goal was an example of that, where they made a good through pass and he finished in the 18-yard box. So Senegal tried to play a little football and it hurt them in the end.
Exactly. Senegal didn't come just to protect the nil-nil draw because, as we were saying, they tried to play football, even though, of course, everyone was giving us a clear favorite, France. But then we saw that when France scored that first goal, Senegal did not just like, let's go back to avoid like more goals coming in, and instead they tried to go forward and try to score, to tie, to do something. Not just, they were not here just to, we are here. No, they tried to go toe-to-toe with France. So how would you characterize that team, Senegal, and also thinking ahead the other two matches of the group, do you believe that Senegal could prove to be a good contender in this group as well to qualify for the next round?
Honestly, I think so. Senegal is a very good team. They just got unlucky to draw France as their first game. But if you're looking at Group I think they're one of the teams that you could argue could be second or third. And remember, in this tournament, the best third place teams still move on to the knockout stages. So if they don't get second place, if they do very good and collect enough points to be one of the best third place teams, I think they're looking to get on into the knockout stages. But this is a African team that you can't sleep on. Again, they have very good quality players, and it did look a little cagey for France a little bit. Only 2-1. Ibrahim Mbappe scored in the 93rd minute, I believe, and it looked like they may have just gotten something to tie the game. But again, when you have the likes of Kylian Mbappe on the pitch, it's very hard to let your guard down until the last minute.
Well, as you were saying, when you have Kylian Mbappe on the field, it's very difficult to win because he can pretty much fix a game by himself. Do you believe that his performance will define the World Cup and will define him as the, well, you were already talking about that, but as the player to see in this World Cup? I also wanted to talk a bit about the fact that he scored 2 goals on these games, but what makes it more important is that he's 2 goals short of that all-time record of goal scorers in a World Cup of closer the whole 16. What do you make of Mbappe and his path on France, the results of this first game?
So it's very interesting for a person like Kylian Mbappe because he had a very rocky season with Real Madrid this year. Everyone knows it's well documented that there was infighting, players weren't getting along. Him and Vinny, the chemistry wasn't there. But with France, it's a whole different story. People forgot he has a one World Cup underneath his belt already, I believe, when he was 18. So he has that experience and that confidence and the arrogance, you dare say, of being the best player in the world. In my opinion, he is the best player in the world and the best player in the tournament. He's now France's all-time leading goal scorer. He just passed Olivier Giroud. You said he's 2 goals away from becoming the all-time leading scorer in the World Cup history, and he's only 27. So this won't be his last World Cup. He will still have one, maybe even two World Cups left in him if he keeps his body and knock on wood, there's no injuries for his career. But I think as a player, he's definitely the one to watch. I think he's going to be the highest goal scorer in the tournament. Now, you guys are talking about Iraq versus Norway. There's another guy who is going to be in competition for the Golden Boot this year, I think, in Aaron Holland. But I definitely think Kylian Mbappe is the benchmark in terms of in this tournament.
Thank you, Mark, for your inputs and your insight in this important game. Of course, I'm sure we're gonna have more opportunities to talk more about this World Cup.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure.